I would like to start this video by formally apologising to anyone I have ever forced to watch Cars 2 in my younger years. I deeply apologise. While I was growing up, I was obsessed with Cars 2. Every single day, I probably asked to watch it. I can't remember though because anything before 2018 is a fuzzy mess. It wasn't even like I liked the franchise either because I never really liked the first film like I liked the second film. It was boring to me because the film didn't start with a British car killing
over 40 other cars in a fiery inferno of death.
Killing spree.
With all that in mind, I decided to watch Cars 2 again in the modern day, and I want to die. The film started fine, and quickly had a snowball effect into a headache-inducing ass ramming, but instead of a snowball, it's shit. It's a shit ball. So allow me, Gimp Wizard, to explain to you at home, or on the Western Front, why Cars 2 is the worst thing in the history of anything. Now I want to ask you a question. Do you remember what the Cars franchise was about originally? If you guess racing, then pat yourself on the back and have this chalky milk because the film was about Lightning McQueen winning the Piston Cup and racing against some arrogant asshole with a glorious Stalintash. Now what I want you to do is to LARP as a Pixar executive deciding where to take a franchise. Good, now if you chose anything but a globe-trotting spy thriller with a higher kill count and ending of Infinity War, then I want you to put a whole ass bush of gorse up your anus and record it, and then send it to me in Twitter DMs. The fundamental decision to make Cars go in this direction is simultaneously a reason why this film fucking sucks, and is also a reason why I had a blast while watching it. Well, half of it. The racing parts with Lightning McQueen is the worst bit, so don't at me about that. I will fight you. The film opens with the greatest sequence I have ever seen in my entire life of watching film. I knew that watching Finn McMissle, which is the best spy name ever by the way, zip wire above an evil German scientist was complete dog shit in the context of Cars. Fucking Cars! However, I couldn't help but grin to myself as Finn literally mutilates one car, then proceeds to blow up multiple explosive barrels, killing hundreds of other cars. Oh yeah, and did I mention to you that this was all taking place on one of hundreds of oil rigs, none of which was ever noticed by anyone in the whole world? Because as Sally Cumstick, or whatever her name was, said at one point, they're scrambling our satellites. Sure, whatever, I won't even ask how Cars made satellites. After getting cornered by hundreds of angry people with welding torches and shit, Finn jumps into the fucking ocean, gets hit by a torpedo from the game Stellaris, and fucking dies. Nah, shit lips, we do a little trolling. He actually lets himself sink, using oil as a distraction to the warships above him to make them think that he's dead. Which, oil is later used as a car equivalent of piss, so either Finn is pissing as a distraction, or every car in this franchise pisses blood. After we're done with that cummy intro, we are then introduced to the state of New Mexico, where Tow Mater is tasked with rescuing the Breaking Bad meth van from the hydraulic press. This is so sad. However, in a shocking turn of events, Mater lets the Breaking Bad van perish as Lightning McFuck has come back from winning his third Piston Cup. Whoa! Some other stuff happens that doesn't matter. I doubt these clips will be on YouTube anyway, and Disney Plus doesn't let me screen record, so... After a day full of fun, Mater asks McQueen for a hot steamy dinner, but McQueen is already cooked him for Sally. This causes Mater to enter a blind rage, and enter a hitman tier disguise, assassinate Sally, and have hot car sex with McQueen, and then sign him up to some billionaire's global Grand Prix. Sally then proceeds to get reincarnated as Nito, First of the Dead from Dark Souls 1, and pressures McQueen to take his mentally challenged friend with him to the most important race of his career. And I don't mean people with actual disabilities can't do anything like go to Grand Prix. I'm saying Mater can't, because he's so unbelievably shit-dense in this film, he is subhuman car. Talking of ableism, did you know that Francesco can actually see through phones?
Is the difference between you and Francesco. Francesco knows how good he is. He does not need to surround himself with tow trucks.
How scary. The gang weed then make their way to the airport and get mowed down by several men armed with LMGs and perish instantly. They then make their way to Car Japan, home of car anime and car hentai. I wish I could say it's a joke, but car anime exists in canon, and every yin has its yang. Mater also does a little cultural appropriation around the first 19 nanoseconds of being in the country. Wait, Mater, what are you doing? Stay away from there! No, Mater, no! In Japan, after a little bit of racism, the gangweed attends a party hosted by the evil guy I can't remember the name of, fuck you. Pretty much nothing happens in this party for around 10 minutes. After the infamous wasabi and pissing scene, Mater is sexually harassed and pegged by a Japanese toilet. He then accidentally gets involved in a bathroom brawl, in which he gets some chip planted in his asshole. He then leaves and harasses a British spy who's after the Death Star plans had just been planted inside of his car anus. The Japanese race begins, the first of many in this film, and it's really dull. It really is. They really went ahead and made the races the worst part of the Cars film about cars. For some reason. I just had an oral shart. I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. That was not okay. Fuck. One of them explodes at one point. It's nice to see Ireland competing in a few global tournaments. The British spy car, who I'll call Sally Cumstick from now on because I don't remember her actual name, talks in Mater's ear through what he's talking to McQueen through. He doesn't find this at all strange and hits the sexual harassment collateral McQueen and Cumstick. He also single-handedly throwed the entire race from McQueen by misclicking his ult mid-race. Turns out at this point that Cumstick had actually hacked his headset because multiple evil cars who are under control by Grand Moff Tarkin are coming to remove the Death Star plans from inside his anus. Cumstick tells Mater to stay inside of the pit stop, or maybe she told him to stay outside. I really can't remember, and I'm not watching it again. However, I am watching Hell of a Boss and waiting and has been on. Yes, I can put both in the tags now. Let's go. Anyway, as it looks as if Mater's about to be executed by 2 stormtroopers, Finn McMissile is behind the door, whoa, and then proceeds to say the best line in any spy film or any film ever.
Finn McMissile, are you dead? This shouldn't hurt at all.
Sorry, hang on, I think I just squirted a little. Mater then proceeds to follow Cumstick's disjointed, ethereal voice through Tokyo as Finn literally war crimes a few cars down the road. I mean, he literally crushes 2 in the most brutal fashion possible and gets the Yakuza to execute the other. Mater sees all this, by the way. He actually witnesses car murder and says it's just a street performance. As Mater comes back to the pits, McQueen is already waiting for him, and he's pissed. Mater tells him I saw a street performer practicing the act of orally sharting. Hey, I done that earlier. And tells McQueen that he has a girlfriend. Of course, the only top shagger in the Cars universe can only be McQueen, and so he accuses Mater of being schizophrenic and proceeds to bully him out of the country for his alleged mental disease. As Mater skulks his way back to the airport to return back to New Mexico and continue cooking meth, he meets up with Finn McWanksicle again and starts talking about how proficient he is in martial arts. He talks about how he literally ripped out his friend's heart and showed it to him. Like, that is not even a joke. That is something he says he did. Some of Tarkin's evil cars show up for the anus plans again that are still in his anus for some reason. They start chasing Mater and Finn again. It's intense. What chase are we on now? It's like, what? 3rd one? We're like 20 minutes into the film. During this chase, Finn adds a few more Syrian war crimes under his belt as he blows up a whole ass truck train thing. Finn also gets a car literally vored by a fuel truck. Wait, isn't that a piss truck? This guy's wheeling around piss and gets someone to fall into it. They then get unberthed by a plane and flee the government after all the damage they caused. Just leaves it. Back in Japan, McQueen pretends to be remorseful for bullying his mentally ill friend and reads through his letters with his crying friends. Also, I'd like to say that the PSPP letter is comedy genius and it's the sole reason I grew up being bullied in school. Or maybe it's my YouTube channel that made that happen.
We're still in the circle too.
In the guts and colon of the plane that unbirthed Mater, Finn and the car I just now realised isn't called Sally and is instead called Holly Cumstick, or I will still be calling Sally Cumstick throughout this review, they're making game plans. During all of this, Holly reverse pegs Mater and opens up a hologram of a car's innards. Mater proceeds to give me actual physical cataracts.
Like a good neighbor,
And proceeds to sexually harass Cumstick for a 3rd time in a row. Finn chooses to completely ignore this and wants to go meet up with Car Heisenberg or something. Oh no, I left for a dump at this point in the film. As I returned from my monster jobby I was having, the gang was in Car Hell, aka Paris. Although I can confirm that real Paris is not like how it's portrayed in the film. There's no markets in Paris. There's no commerce. They haven't worked out how money works. Despite the fact the French people hasn't figured out the concept of currency yet, Mater takes a look at some markets and proceeds tendencies to get scared by a racial minority. What else happens? There's another chase scene that really is not necessary in any capacity. Like, I mean, deadass just doesn't need to happen. Also, they could have just called Car Heisenberg about the blue meth inside of the jet engine. They didn't even need to go to Paris. How did they get from Japan to Paris so quickly? The Mater gang would then instantly teleport again, this time in the Vor train in Italy. Being a train in the Cars universe is a fate worse than death. It's also revealed that the evil organization trying to take over the world is made up entirely of disabled people. Genuinely every villain in this car is disabled and thus evil. So you better go do the bidding of Cars 2 in the real world and tip over any handicapped person you see, and if you don't, Allah, the inventor of Cars 2, will smite you down. Following the part of the film that fucking sucks again, I say fucking sucks, all of it fucking sucks. McQueen and all the other cars that I don't think are named once in this film, I know they all have names but I don't think their names are ever said, are now in hell, aka Italy. While they're there, it's revealed that literally everyone in Italy knows McQueen's Italian friend, thus proving that Italians are a functioning hive mind in real life, and are a affront to nature by all definitions. There's also a very unfunny and unneeded scene, like every scene in this film, where the forklift truck and the pizza pasta car gets into an incel brawl over two women, thus causing the women to leave and form a healthy lesbian relationship. Of course, this is Disney property and they were quickly executed as they were scaring away the Chinese Communist Party's communist gold with their homosexual agenda. Right, back to... fuck me, fuck me. This isn't even me breaking down during recording. This is the script me breaking down. This is me writing the script having this aneurysm. Tell you what, go fill your piss beakers and hit the Quan during the interlude. I need a fat dookie. Alright fuckos, open wide. We got a tomato scene. They're still in the hollow, sad train who wants nothing more than to grow legs and... actually no it doesn't, fuck the train. The spies are planning to give Mater another hitman disguise, and while they're doing that, Mater is back in his racist shit. He instantly mocks people of both Mexican and German descent, and as someone with a German friend, I say good on him, keep it up Mater. They come around the bend and see where track 2 is currently taking place, and it's revealed it's currently taking place on the Empire's Edge map from Battlefield 1. Oh god yes, it's so epic, and so much better than Battlefield 5. Back on the track, McQueen and Francesca Bosnia's jaws are touching tips. During this hot and scene it cuts to... the Pope? Which opens up so many questions about the lore. Were the car crusades? Is gay car marriage illegal in many Catholic countries? Did Irish cars literally turn into car bombs during the car troubles? The Pope also continues repping this film's thing for Vor as he's seen inside of another car. Francesco continues to have literally zero likeable qualities whatsoever. He is quite literally a rat cunt. We then get my favourite sequence in this entire film. Now bear in mind, this is like finding a tiny nugget of sweet corn in a pile of dog shit, but it's good. Mater and such are currently planning to sneak into the disabled person headquarters while the race is going on, and while Mater's waiting round the back of the building for Cumstick to distract the homies with her femcell powers, Finn just straight up calls him an idiot and hurts Mater's feelings. Disney Pixar, the mattress of subtlety in filmmaking. Cumstick then successfully makes the other tow truck simp for her, leading him away and revealing that she was actually Todd Howard all along, thus forcing him to buy Skyrim for a fourth time in 2021 while whispering, "It just works," into his ear.
Yes, I was in the chess club.
This then allows Mater to sneak in, posing as a tow truck that's currently buying Skyrim in an alleyway. Mater, right, get this. Mater then proceeds to get the only chuckle out of me during the whole film, while he lists names of multiple war crimes to a guy while just saying his name. I can't really describe why it's funny, maybe I was just losing my mind, and I wanted to be literally anywhere but where I was. And then proceeds to compliment Mater to an interesting degree. Kinda sounds like he wants to add some more dents to Mater if you... fuck it. Back outside, Cumstick is currently trying to get past the villain's Audacity sound filter. While she's trying, Finn notices that disabled people had whipped out the Halo Gauss cannon across the map and went to go try and stop them. Unfortunately, he's then beamed up and warped to the Delta Quadrant while being turned into a Borg, maybe, I don't know, I've never watched Star Wars. It's also revealed that the evil disabled people organisation are blowing up cars using organic oil, so the world will buy their non-organic oil and they'd all be rich. Okay. Fuck it, sure, fuck this film. It doesn't make sense. Because at the beginning of the film, there's a little documentary about how big rich guy crawled out of a jungle and nothing but his own organic oil. Remember that? He made his own organic oil and sold all of his non-organic oil places. He doesn't have any non-organic oil anymore. Anyway, Mater then proceeds to blow his cover entirely by doing something I can't remember. I don't know what I done. And he proceeds to get a 30 kill streak and call a nuclear bomb onto the Thing House place in an attempt to reach McQueen as fast as possible. While he's doing so, he launches a parachute, taking himself off a balcony and gropes a boat. I genuinely cannot remember this part of the film where he gropes a boat. It's just what my notes say, so it probably happened. By the end of the very intense and interesting Italy race, only McQueen and Francesco actually finished. McQueen gets interviewed about this, and once he leaves the stage, he thinks he hears and sees Mater around the back of the crowd. Although, as he moves through the crowd, past all the other cars towards the tow truck, he finds out he's actually just racist. But wait! Mater was there. He got captured by all the Disney evil disabled people. We then enter the main emotional sequence of the film, the real emotional Phantom Shagger. As Mater enters the abyss to fight the Four Kings, he begins to see his actions of harassment and bigotry flash before his eyes. The reason why this doesn't work as an emotional moment is because it's stupid. It's fucking stupid. A character finally being self-aware that they've been annoying for like an hour and a half isn't sad. It's a film equivalent of putting a finger up your ass and farting on it once or twice. And coincidentally, this was the point where I decided that this film was complete and utter dog shit. That may say more about me than the film itself. As Mater was tucking on our emotional dick strings, the Empire had actually transported the 3 gangweeds to hell, aka England, which is actually the European version of Dathomir. They also put all of them between 2 of Big Ben's cogs. I'd also like to ask, how the fuck did Lemon set up a death laser at the top of Big Ben? The clock tower attached to the British fucking Parliament? Well, Mater proceeds to literally just drive out of his bindings. Cumstick and Finn look to be doomed. But do not fear, because Eleven's just let Cumstick keep her fucking taser. I'm losing my mind. I'm actually losing my mind. I am going insane. She then gets them both free by using her taser she was allowed to keep and just turns into a jet. Okay. I'm not exaggerating or anything here, but just thinking about these events happening in the film is leaving me hollow. I am a husk of what I once was before this. Mater then gets to the bottom Sorry. Why am I saying sorry? I'm editing my own video. Who am I apologising to? Mater then gets to the bottom of Big Ben using some sort of weird voodoo magic to get down a clock tower. I guess it was designed for cars. And he finds McQueen in his pit stop. Oh yeah, did I mention that they were racing in London? Yeah, I don't care either. As he's talking to McQueen, it's revealed that Mater has actually been turned into an Irish car bomb while he was unconscious. After learning this fact, Mater then begins reversing away from McQueen. Bear in mind that Mater is some crusty old tow truck, and he's outrunning the 4-time Piston Cup champion winner while going backwards. I mean, again, my notes are saying here that German scientist has a gamer moment then becomes an incel. I have no clue what the series of events that led up to this actually was, but you can imagine literally any scene in your head here and it probably won't change the outcome of the film in any way whatsoever. While chasing down the disabled people that Disney had decided as evil tyrants, Finn comes across a battleship just literally vibing in the Thames in London. I generally, at this point, I don't even need to try and twist what was happening in the film. This just happens in the film, and it's like some shit that I would just say to try and make it sound more entertaining than it actually is. Finn then detonates his ship's Epstein core and floods 10% of London, killing hundreds. Thank you, Finn. Thank you for fixing 10% of London. During all of the current commotion, a group of EDL members bully some handicapped cars, and Mater sees this happening and just allows it to happen. An army of disabled cars then shows up and encircles Mater and McQueen, at which point Mater attempts to pull a Shrek 3 ending where he just convinces all of the bad guys in one speech that they're not actually bad. Thankfully, all the writers had one working synapse left in their brain and managed to make the Lemons ignore the speech. If they'd all stop being evil at this, I would prefer to throw my own fecal matter at my TV in rage. You'd think I'm joking, but look at my face right now, I'm dead serious. It was also at this point that I think I realised the main reason why I felt like I was going insane, and it's because the film only has one fucking track all the way through it. Sometimes it's slowed down or sped up, but it's the same pissing thing all the time. Mater then has a thing from the Simpsons movie. He then suddenly thinks he knows who the leader of the Lemons is, so he rushes his way to Buckingham Palace as fast as he can, with a fucking bomb strapped onto him. As he just walks up into Buckingham Palace and to the Queen, we get some fat Range Rover product placement in her face. It's not even subtle. After Mater initiates the bomb threat in Buckingham Palace, Mater explains to the royals that Axelrod, that's his name, Axelrod is so dangerous that he can piss himself on stage and blame it to the guy standing next to him. Fuck Darth Vader or Sauron. Can they piss themselves and pass it off like a fart in a lift? I thought not. This is the true pinnacle of evil. Quake. Mater proceeds to shove a bomb in Axelrod's face, and the Queen just stands there, like meters away from a fucking bomb. He explains how Axelrod set up this whole Grand Prix to make organic gasoline seem dangerous and carry on selling his oil rig oil. Even though he invented organic oil and sold all of his oil fields. This guy does not have any oil fields anymore. He sold them. He has nothing to gain from this. I'm actually so unbelievably angry. I'm gonna punch a hole in my wall. Axelrod then proceeds to fold his balls and disables the bomb with his voice, because it was voice activated, by the way. I didn't mention that. I don't think it's really necessary to the story. After this, instead of rolling the credits instantly like they should have and got this piece of absolute dog shit out of the door, they decide to stretch it on by making Mater receive a knighthood. During his coronation, he barks in a soldier, gets sounded by the Queen's built-in sounding probe, and is unfunny again. There's then another whole unneeded ending sequence with Mater and the spies. Shut up, Discard! There's then a whole... I'm not happy. I'm not happy. There's then another whole ending sequence with Mater and the spies and shit all in New Mexico again, but there's literally nothing interesting to talk about, and I do not want to do it. I mean, all that happens is that the stereotypical black car says that she strums herself to Francesco. So gamers, we've reached the end of the film. What did we learn? We learned that cultural appropriation is okay, disabled people are evil, and that Cars 2 is a better film than James Bond. Thank you, Pixar, for making the greatest animated films of all time, like The Incredibles, Lord of the Rings, Has Been Hotel, to this decrepit film? Thank you, really. Thank you for watching. Go watch Cars 2 if you hate yourself. Subscribe here if you enjoyed and or hate yourself doubly, triply times. Like, follow, Ligma Nuts, Comedy,